I'm a guy that's 25. Lego Star Wars is my life. I like Ryan Johnson. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back with another video, and this is going to be episode number 55 of the Starkiller base mock build series. Before we get into the build, I want to give a very special thanks to those of you who contributed via super chats on the live stream this week. So shout out to Matthew T, Lego Soldier 82, oh my god, Mank with no head, Jedi Bob, Kultof Christiansen, and Lamborghini Waffle Sauce. You guys are awesome. I sincerely appreciate that you are willing to contribute to the mock monetarily. It really does help go a long way. But if you guys aren't tuning into the live stream, I certainly urge you to do so. It is a great way to not only see the mock early, but to also hang out with some boyos. What more could you want than that? This week was a very good one. I'm so happy with the amount of progress I was able to get done on Starkiller Vase. You'll notice this is not a super long update. I'm basically kind of pressed for time with getting this one out. I'm actually about to go out of town for a monster truck show this weekend, but I did want to make sure I got you guys a Starkiller Base update. So you'll see that whenever we look at the build progress next up. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. All right, guys. So this episode of Starkiller isn't going to be super lengthy or anything. I just really wanted to give you an update before I go out of time this weekend. I'm actually going to a monster truck show, so looking forward to that. I literally just finished streaming, and I need to put this video together basically before we leave in a few hours. But I did want to show you this pretty awesome progress that we've got done on Starkiller so far. So if I pan the camera a little bit, you'll see that we have a significant amount of these base plates not finished, but close enough to where you can get a very good idea of how these buildings are going to look. This is exactly what I envisioned for this. I'm so happy being able to see so many of these together. Also keep in mind there is going to be another section over on the right side of this. It's basically going to be that smaller section, that 32 stud wide section. But that's where the elevator is going to be, and it'll have a similar outside design to this. It won't be exactly the same. It'll basically be an extension of this building in some way meant to accommodate the elevator. So it'll actually be a little bit wider than this. I'm using the smaller table in here, which means I can't have all the sections all together next to each other out here, which isn't a huge deal. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm just gonna have to try to make use of this space as best as I can, but I really did want to show you guys all these lined up together. And this is basically what I did this week. I worked on, I think I had to maybe finish up one, I think I had all these walls finished up, but I basically had to finish up all of these sections above with the windows, and it looks pretty incredible. I think finally seeing all these lines up hopefully gives you a good idea of, once again, just the scale of Starkiller. This is going to be basically the outside of the base. It's gonna basically be lined up on the other side of this. The row of base plates will come down this way, if it gives you just an idea of how that's going to work. But yeah, I think it looks awesome. I love this wall technique in here. Having these vents, I think, looks really nice. You also have to remember, I was working with pretty limited reference material. Like, it was basically a super pulled back picture that I had to build this, which wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like, it allowed me to take some creative liberties and basically just build something that I thought would look nice. And I think this looks very good. Having the wall that slants back down here, and then the wall that also slants forward up here, and then the windows up here, I think just works awesomely together. So what's going to be next? Next up, I'm going to basically have to build some machinery right here. I'm not really sure what they are. I assume there's some sort of generator. Whatever they are, there's going to be basically like 4 boxes right here, just a big mechanical thing, and that's something I'm going to have to design. Won't be super complicated, but I want to try to put a decent amount of detail in it to basically just make it look really nice. And of course, I have to finish the snow hill that's going to be going across here at the bottom. That's actually the only reason I haven't built the rest of the hill going across here, because I know I'm going to have those box sections right here, and I don't want to have this built and then have to take stuff apart to reaccommodate those box sections. But altogether, this thing is looking awesome. One of the things I was kind of concerned about was how this window would kind of flow into these smaller windows, but I think that also still looks really good. I love the fact that, you know, once this is all finished up, I'll be able to basically have like be looking from a pulled back viewpoint and just be able to see into this window where Hux is talking to those troops and everyone is just working. I would have had the lights on for this update, but I had to basically take the battery pack off of that section and connect it to the elevator that I showed you guys last week. So that's basically why, you know, the lights aren't on in there. But when the mock is finished, of course they will be on and everything will look so awesome. I just love the way this entire build is coming out. This is just so cool to me. This is the first time in a really long time that I've had a nice long section of Starkiller all together. Just working on these individual modules has been nice because they're so easy to move around. But it is nice to kind of be reminded that, yes, this is going to be a very large scale build. And man, this is just so awesome to me. I love the way this is looking. One thing I want you to also know is the roof of this is actually going to be more rock work. So it won't just be like a rock, like it won't be just mountains like directly on top of it. I think it'll mostly be flat with some snow and then some like mountains kind of towards the back. But the reason for that is once these sections are lined up next to everything else, even when they're elevated, because these are going to be elevated like a foot or a foot and a half on bricks to accommodate the trench that's going to be later that way. That's the direction the trench is going to be in once I finish these sections of the builds, but it's still not going to be tall enough to mesh with the other super tall sections of the build. So my plan was to basically have some rock work on top of these, and that'll kind of lead into the other sides of the building. So it'll have just basically a seamless transition between the different levels of the build. And hopefully that'll make more sense once we actually get those sections built up. But honestly, that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, it was a pretty quick update. I just really wanted to give you the lowdown on everything that's happening with Starkiller so far. My plan next week is going to be to really finish up the elevator section on that far right side, have a full view of what everything is going to look like next to each other, and then also start that rock work. I'm not looking forward to it because it's rock work, and even just doing this rock work right here was a super, not a difficult task, but it's a time-consuming task. However, I don't feel like it'll be as bad once I'm building up there, because it's not going to be super tall up there. It might be like, I don't know, half a foot maybe. Nothing too ridiculous, but also it's not going to start until, maybe halfway back on these base plates. So it's not too much rock work. I don't feel like I'm just overwhelming myself with rock work. At this point, honestly, I'm going to have to be cognizant of like my parts usage because I built rocks in so many places on this MOC. Like I'm kind of concerned about having enough slopes to actually finish this. This is basically going to be the last section on this MOC where I have to do rock work, which is so exciting for me. But I want to make sure I'm being somewhat conservative with these pieces and not in a position where I'm just not going to have enough to finish this. I feel like I spent so much on rock work pieces, and it would be super annoying if I just ended up not having enough to just finish this very last section. Like I'm happy I've made it this far. I do have a lot of like rock work slopes left. I'm just hoping it's enough. I know this is a super long section right here, so I'm going to need a lot of the pieces, but fingers crossed it all works out. Everything works in my favor. I think honestly what I might end up doing, just because I have a ton of like the white slopes left over, I might just make a lot of the rock work on top of this, just cover it with snow, which aesthetically actually look nice considering this is such a predominantly dark gray section. It may actually look better to have most of this covered with like snow or white slopes. I think that might actually work out pretty well. But oh yeah, another thing I wanted to show you, we have Rebel Friend here for scale. Honestly, I didn't forget I had this figure, but I kind of forgot where it was, and I found it in a collection of minifigs that I was looking through the other day. So I figured, why not put him on top of there? It gives you a pretty good idea of just the massive scale of this MOC. And a lot of you are just super anxious to see what this MOC is going to look like when it's done. I am as well. But hopefully getting stuff built like this gives you an idea of not only just how big this MOC is, because it's obviously huge. This is still a small section of the MOC, and this is a huge section in itself. But also it just shows you just how hard I'm trying to work to make this MOC truly something impressive, something special. That's what I'm going for. So one last pulled back view of trying to get everything in one frame. So you guys can check that out. And now we will move to the end of the video. And that's going to finish up the video today, guys. I hope you enjoy checking out Starkiller Base once more. It's really coming along, guys. We're slowly but surely getting there. I think finally seeing all those wall sections together meant a lot to me, just as a person who, I like to see things big picture. I like to kind of work on things incrementally and then wait to take a step back to really look at just how much I've gotten done, and seeing all those modules finally together, lined up in one place, did a really good job at just kind of motivating me to really want to get them done, because it's so close. I feel like we're so close to getting these walls done. After that, it's really just a bunch of flat sections pretty much until the oscillator building and trench. So a lot of exciting things going on with Starkiller Base right now. I hope you guys are enjoying the ride as well. This upcoming week, my goal is going to be to basically just get done a bunch of rock work on top of those sections over there and really just get them all finished up. Like if I can just finish up those buildings all together, including the elevator building, that would make me so happy. And then I can really just spend the upcoming weeks working on basically elevating those sections, which is super easy, right? It's just stacking bricks and put them on a base plate. No big deal at all. And then also basically just moving past that, working on those flat snow sections. We're going to need a lot of flat space between that like section of the interior Starkiller base and / exterior and the oscillator building, because I want to have a pretty good looking dogfight that's happening right outside the base that Hux can be overlooking from that window right there. So you guys, I want to stay tuned. We've got some exciting things coming up in this next few weeks. So that's going to finish things up. If you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.